Hi guys, this is just going to be a video on what I believe is a well-balanced diet for goldfish. If any of you out there are a little bit worried or don't really know what the best things for goldfish are, I'm just going to run through a few of the affordable and easy to get a hold of diets that you can find. Okay, so let's begin. As you can see, I've got a few different things here. And I will go through them individually and tell you what I think and what I believe. So to start off with, you're going to want to find yourself a good pellet food. I believe that this should be the main body of your diet, and then everything else should be a supplement or a treat. So this is what I feed. So I'm currently using Thera A New Life Spectrum and Sakahikari lionhead pellets. So I've been using this food because a few months back I noticed that my goldfish had signs of internal parasites, and this food, it says that it contains quite a large amount of garlic, more garlic than a lot of standard goldfish has. It's got more garlic in than the lionhead does, and as we all know or know now, garlic is, well, it doesn't completely get rid of them, but it does help to eradicate internal parasites such as worms, etc., things like that. So I think that's a really good food to have, as well as another pellet food. And I also have Sakahikari lionhead. I don't know if you can see it there. It does say promotes head growth. So it is a good food for oranders, lionheads, anything like that really. But don't worry, as you can see, I also have telescopes in here, and they are absolutely fine on the food. Any goldfish can eat this food. It's got a really good nutritional content in it, which is why I feed it, and also because I do have oranders. But it's not going to start making your telescopes grow wens, so don't worry people, it won't happen. So I generally do a mix of the two, a pinch of each of these foods when I feed them. And I generally feed these in the morning before I go to work every day. So that is the main body of my diet that I feed them. So that also leads me on to veggies. Now, veggies are really important for your fish because our fishies, they have been very modified by man, I'm afraid. In turn, their things like their swim bladders, intestines, everything like that, it's got a little bit smushed in there. So due to this, or a result of this even, they do find that goldfish now do get a little bit constipated. It's not so much in your commons and your comets and your shabunkins, because these are still very much in the carp ancestor line really. But what happens with our fancies is they do get constipated, and this leads to flaty issues, and then later on can lead to swim bladder disorder, which can eventually kill your fish. Which isn't good really. But feeding vegetables, like us humans, helps to keep them regular, so it helps to keep all their systems going, to help prevent this from happening really. And there's a wide range of vegetables that you can feed goldfish. I tend to feed them peas and also spinach. As you can see, I've actually got spinach in my tank at the moment. I have actually got a separate video on how to prepare spinach, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. But peas, if you're going to feed frozen peas, make sure that you thaw them. I generally do mine in the microwave, and make sure you de-shell them. Goldfish cannot digest the shells, so that's really important to do that. So I try and feed them veggies a couple of times a week. So I'll feed the pellets in the morning, and then either the veggies at night. So that's another supplement that I really think that they should be getting. And that leads me on to the last thing that I feed, and that is these. So this is brine shrimp and bloodworms. These are frozen brine shrimp and frozen bloodworms. You can get live versions of these foods, but I'd just be careful because they could be carrying other parasites that you don't really want to have in your tank. And also you can get freeze-dried versions of these foods, but I wouldn't recommend them either, because they contain large amount of air, which can also lead, especially in the fancy goldfish again, to swim bladder issues and buoyancy problems. So just be careful of that. But these foods are really, really high in protein, and this is really good for goldfish growth as well. Some people believe that bloodworms is good for growing baby fish, and also things like arandas for wen growth and things. And brine shrimp, people say is good for fin growth. So yeah, that can't be bad. It's always a plus. So also again, I try and feed these a couple times a week. So I just thaw out the cube in a cup of water, and then sort of pour it into my tank. And they go crazy for them. They love them. Sort of like their chocolate. So yeah, so just to summarise really, I think as long as your fish are getting a good pellet to start with as the main body, because obviously they are going to have protein and veggies in there anyway, and then do your vegetables, and then your protein based foods. You can't really go wrong. They are getting a good balanced diet, but the best thing is to mix up. They love variety. So really, really do that. That's something to consider. There we go. But the one thing I really, really, really wouldn't recommend is feeding flake foods. Most people believe that, you know, they're goldfish, they just eat flake foods. It's generally not the best thing to feed them, just because, again, of their body shape. They're going to come up to the surface to eat their food, and in turn gulp in sort of, you know, a bit of air, which can lead to swim bladder disorder eventually. Not straight away, but eventually. So if you need to feed them this food just for budget reasons, because I mean the pellets like that, they're not the cheapest foods in the world, I'll be honest. But I think you know you get what you pay for. If you like your fish, then I think it's, you know, it's definitely worth it. And also as well, a lot of people believe that as soon as the flake hits the water, it leaches all of its goodness. So your fish aren't getting as much as they should be really. So it's entirely up to you how you go with it. But I just think as long as, you know, you're giving them their veggies, their protein and a good pellet, you can't really go wrong. So I hope this video helped you in any way that it can. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.